All right, let's get to work. Christopher Moonlight, editing the Quantum Terror. This is my first, well, it's not my first live stream, but let's get rid of that. We are going into the first tutorial, and today it's going to be editing. It's going to be a combination between editing and also for people who have been following the Quantum Terror movie in post-production. You get to watch me edit it live today. So we have this scene. It is, oh, by the way, in case you didn't read the description, if you're watching this on YouTube after, because I'll be posting this to YouTube after, spoilers, sort of, I guess. Anyway, I don't think too many people are watching this, and if you're interested in working on post-production in a movie, the movie's going to get spoiled for you. You know, you're one of the artists. So you guys hang with me, pretend you're part of the production team. We're getting this done. And so what do we got here? We have a scene where Sam and Lucy are running away from something really horrible that happened, played by Paula Sullinger and Kristen Koshel. And it's kind of a surrealist movie, so we have a transition here where this horrible event has happened, and then we are kind of experiencing this interlude. Here is footage of a thunderstorm approaching. Pretty cool. That wasn't a visual effect. In Texas. And I wanted to show that a storm is brewing in the movie, starting to rain, and starting to kind of up the ante for the characters in the third act. Rain is coming down. They're in these underground tunnels. Things are starting to get very wet, and the tunnels are flooding. So we've got this great miniature effect footage of the flooding tunnels, and then we go into them running through the tunnels. And obviously we haven't edited out the stuff that shouldn't be there. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to watch this.
Tunnels, tunnels, tantos túneles.
Got to cut that bit out because you can see the back of the set.
Quizás we're already outside. No nos dejan en paz.
We have to add a voiceover.
Not Sylvia!
Being taunted by otherworldly voices.
Lucy! I need you to get it together. Okay. Do you hear me?
Damn it, Lucy, speak American.
I came back for you. I need you to come back for me. Okay.
You see a little bit of the edge of the set there.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that we cut between that and cut. So here's another angle of the scene. By the way, I'm going to stop this for a moment, and I want you to note that there are reflections of water coming up on their face. Because we had a flooding tunnel way back here. Let's go back. I love that shot. So the idea is later on we're going to add sound effects, or Derek Hunt is going to add sound effects to this footage, and is going to make it sound like while they're walking around, they're sloshing through water. So we'll probably record that as Foley. But they weren't walking through water. We just had these reflections coming up on them. And we weren't doing that on set. We did that as this down here is footage in a blend mode. So I'm going to show you that here. Where are the blend modes? Let's see. Opacity. So we did this as a color dodge. Let's turn off the color dodge for a moment. You can see this is actually just a piece of footage I hung a black cloth on a wall, and I just shone a flashlight into a water bottle that was about half full, and I shook it around and made all these kind of shapes up on the wall here. So again, what did I say it was? Color dodge? There we go. So we go into that blend mode, and now we've got water reflecting up on their face. So you combine this with the Foley of water sloshing, and you have them running through water. Later on, after we're done with the edit, let's zoom ahead here, because a lot of this is just dialogue. Okay, so we've got them against green screen. We're going to be adding tunnels going back. We're going to be adding in some of this nasty creature here. Oh my goodness, look at how nasty that is. I love it. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, we're going to have them escaping. We're going to, around here, we're going to add a tunnel here. We're also going to add some stock footage of some water kind of rippling around here. So, you know, you can get away with a lot with just sound effects or some light reflecting up on their face, but you got to show that they're actually interacting with the environment. So later on in another tutorial, I will do that. So, all right. So we got a lot of footage to go through. And by the way, you know, this is a tutorial / you watching me work. So some of it may not be interesting all the time, but we're going to talk about this. So anyway, let's watch this second clip. This is the same scene shot from another angle.
Scene 73C, take 2. And action.
Tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Quizás we're already outside. No nos dejan. No nos dejan solas. I'm not Celia! ¿Podría decirme cómo salimos de aquí? Lucy! I need you to get it together. Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you.
Okay, so before we watch the next scene, which is the same, different take of the same scene, I want to point something out here. You notice that when the blend mode down here ended, you'll watch, comes to an end, suddenly the lighting changes. A blend mode will mess with your lighting a bit. Now, this piece of footage isn't as long as all these clips together, but by the time we get this edited down, it'll make a big difference. So what do we have here? We've got a wide shot. We have a shot that is focused on Kristen Cochel's character Sam, and we have a reverse shot that is focused on Paula Sullinger, who plays Lucy. And then we've got the next take here. So I think something's missing. We're gonna have to at some point grab maybe a shot of our miniature, but for now we're just gonna focus on this. So we've got the wide shot, which is a good establishing shot.
On Terror, scene 73, take 5.
So first off, I want to just get rid of all this part that's us calling action. And all right, let's just clip that and get rid of it, so we don't have to watch it every time we go back. Let's pull that back there.
Tunnels. Tantos túneles.
All right, so we've got this revealing. Right here we're revealing our set is not a complete set. This is actually just one wall, but we want to make it look like they're in a tunnel. We'll talk about that in a bit. But also, we pan over to that in the middle of her dialogue. So we want to look at a couple of things here. Which way she's facing and which way she's facing. Sorry, Paula, for stopping at that weird face. Alright. So let's scroll through here. And they're looking in different directions here. What about here? What about this take? Alright, she's kind of looking that way. Somebody's calling me on the phone. Hope it's not important. I'm gonna go turn off that ringer really quick. So let's look at this. Oh, they stopped calling. Anyway, I'll get used to this live stream thing. No problem. Turn off my phone. Alright, so right away we're kind of dealing with a problem. And that is the direction that they're looking at. So I think...
Tunnels.
Alright, let's find another part here.
Tunnels.
Alright, I think I want to cut right here. Alright, now we don't see her face here, so when we overlap the dialogue, so I'm going to drag this here. That'll kind of hold our place. I'll show you kind of how I do that. Might not be the right way to do it. Anyway. And let's mute the audio on this track so we can hear the audio on this next track without them overlapping and confusing us. Alright.
Tunnels.
Alright. I'm going to cut this here again so we don't have to deal with action, but instead of deleting this, I already moved this to the point where I want to cut to, so I'm just going to drag this over and let it snap in, and boom, it's gone. So let's unmute that, see how it plays.
Tunnels.
Alright. Let's mute that again. There's tunnels. Okay, so she said tunnels here already.
Tunnels.
Okay, so we're not going to make her repeat it again. So we know that we can cut again. We're going to do the same thing. Let's mute that.
Tunnels.
And let's clip it to here. See how it works out. Now she said that. I'm going to clip this now so we don't have to deal with overlapping audio. Drag this back. Let's see how it plays.
Tunnels.
I think it's a bit quick. A bit too quick of a cut. And this is something you just kind of have to feel your way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this back a little bit. I'm going to grab this here. I'm going to drag this out a little bit more. Let's drag this over a little. Ugh. Well, that didn't sound good. What are we going to do about that? And the truth is we just kind of have to play it back and see how it works. Let's see.
Tunnels.
Maybe we have to bring it a little closer.
Tunnels.
Man, gotta turn off that ringer. Sorry about that, folks. Here's the lesson. Turn off your ringer before you do a live stream. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's watch the clip on its own again.
Tunnels, tunnels.
Sometimes you just gotta kind of keep deleting.
Tunnels.
Sometimes, a lot of times, I end up just dragging it to the very moment where there is no sound. So let's see how this plays now.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles.
Alright, does that match up with what she's doing? So look how she starts to turn her head. And then she's kind of snapped. Look. It's like her head snapped back a bit. She starts to turn, and then she starts to turn again. So we want to maybe just clip that just a little bit, drag it over, and let's see how that head turn works.
Tunnels. Tantos túneles.
Did that work? Let's look at it again.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles.
Yeah.
¿Pero a dónde conducen? Quizás we're already outside. No nos dejan. No nos dejan solas.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, so maybe I should explain why she's screaming, "I'm not Sylvia." I think I mentioned voiceover before. The idea is later on we have an otherworldly voice calling her name, but it's not her name. I won't explain why at the moment because, you know, I want you to watch the movie and get a little mystery. I noticed that this scene of her in this particular take looking around goes on for too long. Now the focus is on Sam. She's the one leading these two out, trying to think of what to do. But she's looking around while Lucy is talking. Lucy's supposed to be a little delirious at this point. I want to trim this down a bit. So, let's look. Let's add another track. You can never, these days, it seems like you can never have too many tracks stacked up on each other. So, go down to sequence, add tracks. I'll add, at least for now, 2 more tracks. Audio, do you want 2 more audio tracks? I don't know, I might as well do it. Okay. I'm gonna move this up a couple. This is that adjustment layer with the water reflections on it. And we have a reverse angle over here. I'm gonna make sure we don't accidentally overlap the audio and delete the audio. So let's bring this reverse track over here for the moment. Zoom back in. And see about... Where's the... Let's mute this one for the moment.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe we're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, so this is the track that we want here. Comes in.
Tantos túneles.
Did she say that before? Do we have that in that track? Let's unmute.
¿Pero a dónde conducen?
I wish I spoke Spanish. Paula's actually from Argentina, and she works as a translator. So she explained to me that there are lots of different variations in Spanish, but there's kind of a universal Spanish.
¿Pero a
Okay. I'm going to cut all this out. What we need is, I'm going to try and explain this a little bit. So when you see her running in, she's the leader. She's leading them. We're in her head. But then she is talking. She poses an issue for Sam, which is that she's delirious and she needs Sam. Sam needs her to come back. So we want to bring some emphasis onto the problem in this scene. Okay, so I think that is a good place to cut right there. So I'm going to chop into here so I can drag this back out of the way. Oops. And really, you know, if you're an editor or you're an aspiring editor, you need to look at every scene as conflict resolution. This is the problem. She's trying to think about it. This is the conflict going on.
Maybe they're already outside. No nos dejan solos.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little... This is a long time to hold on her. But we're going to want to hold on to this for a moment because we're still going to have reverse angles here. Alright, and I don't know how other people edit. I just keep dragging stuff back so it's out of the way and then finding what I need and dragging parts of it back forward again. There may be a bit of a way to do that. We need to...
Those tunnels. Tantos túneles.
Looking around.
¿Dónde conducen? ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe they're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos.
Okay. By the way, hit the save button. Alright, so what's at issue now at this point is that we spend way too much time on her. We need a reaction from Sam now. So we can cut back. Alright. Take a chance here and get rid of this. By the way, if you get rid of something and then you decide you need it, you can always drag it back and there it is. But for now, you can see what the blend mode looks like without any footage underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to drag these two down by one. I can do that. I'm going to drag this particular clip. Oops. Over a bit. And whatever's on top is what it cuts to.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay. So I dragged that over too far. She's looking that way and she's looking that way. So that's a bad cut right there. She's looking two different ways. We can't have that. Does she look over at any point? She does. Okay, let's look at this again.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, but now here's the problem. If we got a voice calling after her by the wrong name.
Maybe they're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos.
Okay, so what is this showing me here? As much as we want this wide shot, let's save again. We can't cut. Now there may be other takes, but I've been through a lot of the other takes, and you know, they're not as good as the takes that I put on the timeline. I can start combing through more takes for like that little bit of footage, but I'm gonna look for something that works that's already here to save myself some effort. And this is kind of interesting here. When she's looking around, what I'd like to be able to do is find some footage of some water on the ground, like we're seeing her point of view. And we use a lot of point of views in this movie. I'll explain why in a bit.
No nos dejan. Nos dejan solas.
I'm not.
Nos dejan solas.
Is that... It's a bit short. What's going on?
Quizás we're already outside. No nos dejan. Outside. No nos dejan.
Alright. It's a quick cut. I don't usually like having quick cuts. I am a believer in the 4 count rule. Let's count this. 1. Yeah, just 1. You should usually cut 1, 2, 3, 4. Give each cut about 4 seconds. There are a lot of quick cut movies these days, and I think they're robbing the audience of something. But in this case, we are stuck. So we're going to use a real quick cut of her looking down, and then later on we're going to cut to some water, so we're seeing her point of view. Again, the point of view is a really good tool when you're working on a low budget movie and you've got miniature sets. You want to give people a sense that those miniatures are actually the environment the actors are in. So if you give the audience a sense in your movie that they get to see through the character's point of view a lot, you can cut between shots of them and shots of your miniatures with no people in them and get away with it most of the time. Every once in a while you're going to have to do a visual effect where you put your character in with the miniatures, but you don't want to give your audience too much time to recognize that that's a effect shot, especially if you're working on a low budget. But let's see here.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, so we're a little later into that than we wanted to be. Let's drag that back. Let's drag this clip in here. So editing can get boring, by the way. Get a little bored, a little stir crazy. Sorry the webcam's not working, or maybe it started working for some reason. It's not working. I'd be making lots of faces at the camera at this point that you could see. The moment. But let's play it through and see how it plays out so far.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe they're already outside.
Okay, that's a good place to cut. I just happened to drag it there. Maybe.
Already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos.
Hey, there's a space where she doesn't talk. Maybe we can get away with dragging this clip out a little longer and let the audio overlap. Let's see.
They're already outside.
Almost matches up. How does that play if we mute this clip? Sometimes you try and just play little clever games with yourself, see if you can get stuff to match up. Maybe it's just me being lazy. Let's see if we can match that up. You might hear my dog barking in a second. Hush, dog. Hush, dog. Little yappy dog outside getting my dog going. Okay. So now I feel like she screams, "I'm not Sylvia," almost a little too soon. Because if we want a shot of the water... Let's drag that back.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, so let's see how this plays so far.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe we're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos.
I'm not Sylvia!
¿Me podría decir cómo salimos de aquí?
Alright, so I've made a decision here. A lot of my editing decisions are made on the fly like this. I don't want her to yell, "I'm not Sylvia," as a wide shot. We need to focus on her. And I think at some point we're going to need a shot of a miniature tunnel. When she's running here. I think before this cut, actually, we need to show her point of view of the miniature tunnel with water in it. And then she's thinking what to do. She's freaking out. I don't know if you can hear that car alarm. Sorry if you can. Okay, so we're gonna kind of abandon this point here for the moment. Man, that's an annoying car alarm. I hope you can't hear that.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay. So let's drag that back so it's out of the way for the bit. A bit. Oops. Okay. Always got to make sure your audios don't overlap and accidentally delete each other.
I'm not Sylvia!
Okay, so yeah, she says whatever she's saying in Spanish, she says it twice, but she's supposed to be delirious. So I'm going to let it slide, at least for the moment. Now, edit it. This is a loose edit. You can edit and edit and then find, wait a minute, I need to redo this or tighten this up. So, you know, don't think that everything we do is like the permanent thing. Sometimes you got to edit it, watch it, see what's working, see what's not, and then go to the next step. So I think I want a clip of water here. She's looking down. So where we see Paula right now, we're just going to put a shot of water. I don't have a shot of water at the moment, just rippling on the ground. You know, if I could get a shot of some rippling water with maybe a boot toe in it, because you know, I can go and shoot that. I can go find someplace, go find a puddle and step in it with my own boot. And Kristen was wearing, her character was wearing boots in the movie. So here, I'll be the voice for a moment, okay? It's supposed to... Sylvia. Sylvia.
I'm not Sylvia!
Oh, sorry. My bad. Okay. Here's a good place to cut. Like, what? I like that face. Okay, we're gonna cut. We're gonna put a nice cut right there. What? And we're gonna reverse it. Where's our reverse footage? Alright, she has a little shake here, head shake here. Alright, zoom in on that. I like that head shake. Alright, let's get rid of that. I like to get rid of as much superfluous footage as possible right out of the gate. Let's bring this back over here, get this out of the way. See how this reverse works.
Lucy, I need you to get it together.
All right. Now at this point, okay, we saw a bit of the set. Oop, right there. Or the end of the set right there. But I'm going to cut it there because I'm going to overlap my cut just a little bit. Alright, let's go back to the wide now. Whoops, that's not it.
I came back for you.
Okay, what does she say here?
Lucy, I need you to get it together.
Alright, I need you to get it together.
To get it together.
Let's get rid of all that superfluous stuff. She's already said it. We can always get it back later.
I need you to get it together. Okay? Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you. I need you to come back for me. Okay? Okay. Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
Cut.
Oop, you don't want me saying cut at the end. Alright. Does that work? I think there are still some problems with it. But let's do this, and this is what makes editing so hard. You keep watching the same scene back over and over again, making tiny, tiny tweaks. But let's see how it plays out so far. Let's go for it.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe they're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos. No nos dejan solos.
I'm not Celia! Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you. I need you to come back for me. Okay, 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 I'm with you. Okay. Come on.
Okay. So this chunk here, it's too big. We need to break it up, especially when they're talking. We need to go back and forth. And by the way, I was talking about, let's see, we've got storm footage, that sort of thing. So I'm going to need to add some additional shots that I don't have at the moment. And sometimes, you know, if you're an independent filmmaker and you're editing your own footage, you kind of have the luxury of being able to say to yourself in the edit, I need this shot, this bit of B-roll or something, and if it doesn't involve actors, you can just figure out how you can go and grab that shot and come back, bring it to the edit, and there you go. If you're an editor and you already have all the footage, it's a lot harder for you to go to the director and say, you know, you really could do with another shot here that you just don't have. And maybe the director will have a solution for you. And maybe he'll say, well, we don't have it, so we're just going to have to figure something else out. In my instance, I'm going to go and grab some more shots. And we'll talk about those another time, because I'll go grab them and then I'll do another live stream and you'll see what I got and you'll see me kind of bring them back in. So anyway, going back to this, I want to see, let's see, what do we have here now? Okay.
I need you to get it together. Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you.
I love pausing on people's faces, but we're not going to do that to Kristen. Okay. 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 We're going to cut there. We're not going to do repeat okays. Really try not to repeat. If an actor puts in a performance, and it's a good performance, but they do something like, okay, 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 your audience is going to catch on to that really quick. And if you do it too much, they're going to start heckling the screen. There's, what is it, Silent Hill? What was the name of the girl she was looking for in Silent Hill? It's a terrible movie. But she kept yelling the name over, like the movie was like her yelling the name out. She's looking for this little girl, but she's constantly yelling this girl's name out over and over again. And after a while, you're like, this all all this movie is her yelling this name. God, what a crappy movie.
Lucy!
Okay, no, we're not going to use that.
To get it together. Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you.
Okay. No, I'm doing it.
I
Okay.
came back for you. I came back.
I don't know if I'm going to use all of this, but this is the part I want. I want the part where she says, I came back for you. And I want to see Paula reacting to that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Not a fan of walking off in a close-up like that. Oops. No, not that. That's better. I like that much more. So we're gonna kind of clip that. I'll always give things a little bit of an end so I can cut more.
Do you hear me? I came back for you. I need you.
Okay, let's get rid of these ends. Whew, okay. Okay. Let's bring this closer. Alright, so let's get back into the meat of this thing.
Do you hear me?
Alright. I'm gonna drop this down. And I'm gonna bring these guys up, just so I can do a little bit of an overlap.
To get it together. Together, okay?
Oops, that won't do. Slide this back.
Get it together. Okay. Do you hear me?
See what just a little bit of a move, what a difference it'll make.
Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you.
Ah, no. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Oof. Hate doing that.
I came back for you. I came back for you.
Alright. Control Z. Okay, here's something we want to pay very close attention to. Watch her mouth at the end of this cut. It opens, and then it opens again. So, I vote for dragging this closer. But you know what? It doesn't work. The angles just seem a little jarring. We need to give them time to move a little more. So I'm gonna let her open her mouth in this clip, cut it, and now alright, so even though the angles are a bit weird, the movement leads into the next movement. So she moves a sidestep and her head moves down. So we have a fluid movement between the two. Now, let's go back to Paula, aka Lucy in this movie. Let's bring this up here. Save. Try and save as much as possible. There's nothing more painful than just, you know, getting that right step. You can, you know, you might save often, but you get like just the right edit and then something happens. So I came back for you. I'm gonna cut this right there. I think that's a good point. Okay, so let's see how this works. All right. So what do we do? Do we go wide? No, we... What the heck, man? Losing track of stuff. Is that it? What's over here? That's a different shot. Okay.
Came back for you. I need you to come back for me. Okay. 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 I'm with you. Okay.
Looks like we're getting a lot of okays no matter what.
Okay. I'm with you. Okay.
Okay. Alright. Just kind of interested in this shot. You may think you're going along all right, and then you see one little thing and you kind of like, wait, what is this? What's going on here? Very interesting. Okay. Now I left a lot of space right here. There will be an insert shot later. So let's see how this whole thing plays out so far. Let's start with the flooding tunnel because it's cool. Love the flooding tunnel. Kind of homage to The Shining.
Tunnels, tunnels. Tantos túneles. ¿Pero a dónde conducen? ¿Pero a dónde conducen? Maybe they're already outside. Pero no nos dejan solos. No nos dejan solos.
I'm not Celia!
¿Podría decirme cómo salimos de aquí?
Lucy, I need you to get it together. Okay? Do you hear me? Huh? I came back for you. I need you. Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
Well, darn it, she said it twice. What the heck? How did I miss that? Well, it happens all the time. Honestly.
Okay, I'm with you. I came back for you. I need you. Okay, I'm with
Okay, it's like a whole chunk we don't need. Let's get rid of it and zip everything back up to here.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
definitely don't want this. I like the close-up. I just do. So let's drag it out. So however far it goes. Okay, now that's a bit much. Just focus on a wall. So we're gonna have them. We'll cut to a tunnel. I keep talking about these tunnels. I should. Let's see. Let's go to. Cut so many folders here. Okay. B-roll. Tunnels. We have all of this footage of these different tunnels. And I'll just give you a example. This might be a good bit. This is a miniature tunnel with a push-in that I shot. That may not be the piece of tunnel we want to use, though. I think I need something too smoky. We need something, you see, down here, we're going to have to put water. This might be a better one. Anyway, I'm going to pause this for a second. A little just kind of fun thing here. You can probably tell in this shot, but with some color correcting, you wouldn't. This is a perspective gag. You can see the color variation here, but this is actually like a Warner Brothers Wile E. Coyote style perspective painting that I did, that I stuck at the end of the miniature tunnel, so that it looks like it's going on into the dark forever. It's not very convincing in its raw form, but once we do some color correction, it will be. But let's try another piece of... That one looks a bit better. But you know what? I almost forgot. I'm looking at the wrong layout here. We need a T-bone tunnel. I've shot all these T-bone tunnels. There's an elbow, T-bone, no tracking marks. We want something with tracking marks. I don't see any tracking marks there. What was I talking about? Maybe I just... T-bone tunnel, no tracking marks, no tracking marks. Tracking marks! Okay. So problem with this one, these characters don't have their flashlight in these scenes. So, did I do one without a flashlight? Ooh, making me dizzy. No, like an idiot, I did a flashlight on all of them. Or maybe not. This might be good enough. Okay, so did I actually have the camera go down? Yeah, we did. Okay. So that might be good enough. So let's go ahead and add that. Let's see. Create a new folder. There it is. Had me worried for a second. Thought I was losing my mind. We'll just call this tunnels. Get that in there. I will have to shoot some water footage though. We'll get to that. Alright, anything else I want? Not at the moment. Can always get more stuff. It's a big piece of tunnel footage. Not zooming in very fast, but we only need a few seconds. There we go. Alright, let's cut it about that. Probably we need less, but we don't know how much less we need. Probably we need even less than that. But let's see how it cuts together with the next clip. Look at all that we saved. Remember, we started out with all this whole space with all footage, and now we've edited it down to this.
And Quantum Terror, scene 72T, take 3. And 3, 2, 1, action.
See how it flows. Okay. So, we're kind of into the next part of our drama. What's she looking at? What's she so afraid of? This guy. This is something that Jenna Green created for our movie. It's a miniature creature. It's supposed to be kind of sitting stuck to the ceiling in this Lovecraftian tentacled viscera. And, you know, obviously we won't use too much of a shot of this, but this is essentially just a pull string puppet.
Pull it back. Back. Leave that tension on the wall. Back.
We have other footage of this, I just didn't put it in yet. But this is when we're going to do is when she comes in, she's going to see that. She's going to want to avoid it. Let's see. So anyway, that puppet's name was Sisyphus. Let's look at some of the footage. This is, you notice there's all of this. Wanted to get the angle right. Probably didn't get it great, but we can correct it later. We're going to digitally put this part in on this side. we might use this as well. That might actually be a better piece of footage to digitally put in there. And these are the bits of footage that probably were already there. Again, a lot of this will come together with color correction. I think I actually like this bit of footage better. Let's see, what do we have? That's the same bit of footage. Just need to make sure we go through the right parts. Okay, so this we've got a neat little moment here. It's kind of an homage to Alien. Kristen did a really good job with those giant scared eyes. I have to think about that. Well, I think for now that's a good place to stop, but we're going to come back to this. I will be doing another live stream. I'm going to be coming up with a bit of a live stream schedule. That doesn't mean they'll be the only times I live stream. I will try and stick to that schedule though, and if you miss anything, it will all be posted on my YouTube channel. Just search Christopher Moonlight or Moonlight Art Mag on there. By the way, there is a if you find these tutorials useful and you want me to keep doing them and talking about editing, talking about the movement of the scene, and later on I'm going to be addressing subjects like practical effects and visual effects using After Effects. And you won't always just see my screen. I'm going to take my webcam and I'm going to stream live while I build things, work with my hands. That could be anything from creatures, puppets, sets, and if I'm able to keep going, I will also be bringing you live streams of being on set and working with actors. So be sure to follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube. Like I said, there's a donate button, which you can see down below. You know, if you think that these tutorials help, please help me keep going by leaving a contribution. It's very much appreciated. And I will be back soon for more of these streams, and I hope you find them useful. You got questions, comments, there's always the chat box or comments in YouTube. I'm always open to suggestions how to make these streams better, answer questions. So yeah, thanks very much. Oh, and you know, gonna try and get my personality going a little stronger, do more things. I love doing voices. I gotta figure out how to work those voices into these streams. Alright, that's enough out of me. The silliness is over. Hope you found it useful, and I will be back soon with more live streams.